ESPN does the Big Ten wrong in such a way that I'm going to stand up for Jacob Goins. Week 3 was really good. Minnesota's out of the Big Ten for now in our minds, and we make our picks for Week 4. All on today's Locked On Big Ten Squad.
You're talking ball with the Big Ten Squad, sponsored by Game Time. From USC to Ohio State, from Michigan to Oregon, from Nebraska to Washington, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big Ten weekend. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up, you're part of the Big Ten Squad.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to this week's 4-man Locked On Big Ten Squad. You can call us the Fantastic Four for today. I love superhero movies. Nick Arvin of Locked On Purdue is here. Jay Stevens, Locked On Buckeyes. Roman Tomashoff, Locked On Huskies. I'm Spencer McLaughlin from Locked On All Over the Place. And thank you all so much for making this your first listen or your first view every day. The Big Ten was done very wrong by ESPN. And if you just take out, Minnesota, a conference game, and UCLA, then the Big Ten went unbeaten last week. That's how we're going to choose to interpret it here on the squad. Let's start. Jay, I want to go to you first on this. ESPN passes up Bloomington for a battle of top 20 unbeatens with playoff and potentially conference championship implications for, hold on, let me double check my notes here. Oh, okay. 1-2 Florida traveling to Miami. Jay, do you want to, is there a good explanation for why this is the case? Because I can think of an explanation. I just wouldn't describe it as a good one.
I mean, I can make it make sense and for why they want to go to Coral Gables to go there for the rivalry, the in-state flair that's going to provide. But I don't think people that, or even just fans, really care about Florida like they did before the season. You want to go down to Miami? Cool. It's a great place to be. You got to have some money to go there because it's kind of expensive. But a couple years ago, maybe a few years ago now, ESPN started to go to other games, not so much to big boy games, to try to hype up other matchups, other schools that they didn't normally go to. And this is one of those ones where you seem like it's almost a foregone conclusion. They would go there. Illinois is on the rise. Indiana's on the rise. Both started off very, very well this year. It'd be the perfect time for them to go off the radar, away from a big school, to highlight a fan base that is thirsty to win again. Made the playoff last year. They could make the playoff again this year. But ESPN misses in a big way.
Yeah, I just can't stand it. And we all know that it's because it's ACC, SEC, and that's the game that airs on their network that they have the media rights for. College Gameday used to stand for, or it is supposed to stand for, highlighting the best game of the week. I would be less upset if they went to Salt Lake City for Utah and Texas Tech, which is also a significantly more impactful game. Like, Billy Napier's fighting for his life down there, and it's probably not going to matter end of the day. And Nick, I know you're a Purdue guy. I think, I'm not really sure, which is why I'm going to ask the question. I think even you can feel bad for the good people of Bloomington, right? That they missed this opportunity that they have richly deserved to this point.
I mean, the thing with Bloomington, and I don't like Indiana, I don't like Bloomington as a city in general, but for a fan base that hasn't gotten to experience College Gameday as much as a Miami of Florida has been able to, it's a fun experience. It's something that if you're a college kid going to Indiana, you want to be a part of College Gameday. You want that show to come to your town. And it kind of sucks for Indiana fans, as much as I can't stand that program, that they do miss out on this when that program has taken a jump in the past couple of years. And for Florida and Miami, it seems like there's a lot of politicking there. Like, that decision was made before Lagway throws 5 interceptions. No one cares about the Florida Gators when they're 1-2, have lost to South Florida. They just don't. Miami.
You can just end that sentence at Gators.
Yeah, in general, Miami's good, Florida's not. Miami should win that one easily. The clear decision should have been Illinois and Indiana, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. With Big Noon going to Salt Lake, the opportunity was right there, and Roman, they just decided to pass it up. And I am going to be irritated about this the entire week, including when I inevitably, out of force of habit and routine, because that's the way my brain is wired, tune into Game Day on Saturday.
So I do have a thought here, and I feel like this played into it. Spencer, do you know how many times Indiana was featured on Game Day last year?
Twice? I don't know.
Twice.
Twice, okay.
Indiana at Ohio State. And then when Washington went to Indiana, that was also on game day. So I'm not saying this is right.
Wait, Washington and India? Oh, because they were undefeated and it was
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, that was game day last year. So I feel like, and again, I'm not saying this is right, ESPN didn't want to go back to Bloomington for a second straight year, which makes it a little bit more ridiculous because they'll choose so many other programs to go to year after year after year. And Kurt Cignetti has done a phenomenal job turning around that program in a very short amount of time. So I feel like as we just continue down this road of a Power 2 conference between, the SEC and the Big Ten, those should be schools that get a whole lot of consideration for this. And especially, again, a top 20 matchup. It's insane to not choose that.
It is insane. It's also insane that I have to do this. All right, Goins.
Yeah!
Hi. Welcome.
Yeah!
Welcome to the show. I just want everybody to know right off the bat, Goins is 16 minutes late to the recording of this particular episode, but
You're right.
I'm including him in the first segment anyway. We were just saying, Nick might have thrown a little bit of shade at the city of Bloomington in there, but we'll overlook that at the moment.
The Purdue guy? Okay.
Yeah, the Purdue guy. That is indeed what Nick's job title is here at the Locked On Network. But
Yikes.
Your thoughts on game day not going to Bloomington this week? I think it stinks for Indiana fans because it's so clearly the more interesting game that it has so much bigger stakes. It's just more exciting to watch. Florida's awful.
Florida sucks. Florida's terrible, and Billy Napier is going to go back to the Sun Belt if he's lucky. Okay.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it now, Brandon? This is what you get for moving to London.
Yeah, Brandon.
Can't mute us.
Do you even work here anymore? No. I think ESPN absolutely dropped the ball. Yes, I would have loved to seen them come back to Bloomington for Illinois and Indiana, a top 20 matchup. But even if it wasn't our game, for whatever reason, there's a great matchup in the SEC that's not named Florida. How about Auburn, Oklahoma? That's a good matchup they could have gone to. There's two great games that Game Day could have picked, but they said, you know what? Let's watch Carson Beck in Miami drop 48. I don't know, maybe not that much, but dominate Florida, who can't throw it to the correct football team. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, 34-13 is my final score prediction. I think they went to Norman earlier this year is probably why. But I would have rather they gone to Norman again.
I guess they were there for the Michigan game. Is that right?
Yeah, but again, I would have rather they gone there again than go to Miami in Florida. Like, just...
It should be in Bloomington, though. The correct answer was
should.
Bloomington, Indiana. That's the correct answer. When's the last time they were in West Lafayette, Nick?
I don't know. To be honest,
I'm going to stand up for the Boilermakers here. If they did go there, I bet that environment would be spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
It would be spectacular. I remember watching the Oregon game, which is, just something I do as neutral arbiter of all things college football. And I was just tuning into that matchup on a Friday night, and I think Purdue was 1-74. Or at least that's how it felt record-wise at the time. And Oregon was coming in there off the win against Ohio State. And yet, I looked around on that broadcast in the stands, jam-packed. They were loud, they were proud, and they lost 35-0. I'm just saying, one day.
You're talking about last year?
Yeah, last year when Oregon came to town, and it was...
living in the past. What do you know?
It was not as good.
I beat Roman to it.
You did. The funny thing about that insult is between Washington and Oregon fans, that insult goes both ways. Washington says that to Oregon. Oregon says that to Washington. It's just a constant.
So it just cancels each other out. Like that's
yeah,
all
it's
does.
offsetting penalties at this point.
Replay the down.
It's like we had a face mask over here, but we had a late hit on the quarterback over here. Those fouls offset. Jay, I know you have to go, so just a quick look ahead to week 4 after you guys took on the real team in Ohio that we all want to root for, the Bobcats. The Bobcats are obviously going to win the MAC by 400 points this year. Ohio State in week 4, is this just going to be a snooze fest until a big opponent pops up?
Well, yeah, because you're not playing the game. So
okay.
It is a big snooze fest.
I look really good.
Sleeping in on a Saturday while everybody else is watching game day and putting the pads on. Those boys are going to be hopefully getting massages and getting off their feet. But this is a week, I think, for Ohio State where they got to figure out the running back rotation. The running backs are starting to get some traction. And get a little bit of success. But I think the hard part for Ryan Day is your best running back is your freshman, a true freshman running back. And nobody doesn't want to give that title of RB1 to a guy that just got on campus, but he might need to for the Buckeyes offense to hit on all cylinders.
When we get back, why Jed Fish will be UCLA's next head coach. This is Locked On Big Ten Squad. First, this episode brought to you by our friends at DoorDash. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. Across the Big Ten, a bunch of big performances. Did you see what Bryce Underwood did? Did you see what the USC offense did last week? Iowa's offense even scored. Mark Gronowski went for 179 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Minutemen of UMass, which, UMass, but hey, Gronowski, that a boy. He delivered for Iowa this week, and a bunch of other players did as well. Just like DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season. You could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day. Only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. Check out DoorDash today. If you want to bet any of the games in the Big Ten or anywhere in college football, FanDuel's the place to do it. And guess what? The NFL season's here too. FanDuel's making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So the Big Ten slate this week has games like Illinois and Indiana, or Oregon and Oregon State, or any number of other games. Those are really the only 2 games anyone cares about, of course. So if you want to bet those games or anything else, then FanDuel is indeed the place to do it. If you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Get up to $300 in bonus bets to use across the app if you're right. Check them out at FanDuel.com. Welcome back. We have a new Fantastic Four here, the Locked On Big Ten Squad. We have Jacob Goins, who's wearing a ridiculous-looking hat. Or what are you, Megamind?
It's from the Game Cap, a wonderful sponsor of Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you.
That's true. Why are you making their hat not look as sharp as it actually is by looking like a complete and...
It is sweet. I have my headset on, and my hair looks kind of good too.
You didn't take the tag off. That's a great look. You're just crushing the sponsorship here.
It's gonna go right here. I just haven't got to that point yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, you're making it look like you'd put a balloon on top of your head, but we'll just ignore that for now.
My head's big enough. I'm good.
The biggest storyline out of last week: Deshaun Foster fired at UCLA, and Roman, give me a one. I can't even.
I'm waiting.
I'm just trying to say it with a straight face. I don't know if I can, but
I can because I'm the one that presented.
You know what? Yeah, Goins, you go for it, man. This is
Roman.
This is your bit.
Are you emotionally prepared? And I'm talking deep emotions, like in your soul, prepared for UCLA to throw an absolute bag at Jed Fish and him leave Seattle to go for the lovely city of Los Angeles. Are you ready for that?
Jacob, I have to ask you a question, and I mean this in no way to disparage the education of the University of Indiana. Do you know how much money it would take just to have this conversation?
No, I don't, to be honest.
Right.
But
you got to be careful here, Goins. He's got academic prowess up there in Seattle.
A lot of academic prowess. Let's break this down. Deshaun Foster's contract at UCLA was 5 years, $15 million. Jed Fish's contract right now is $7.5 million a year. So this is just a starting point where if Jed Fish were to be bought out by any school, not just UCLA, it would take a $10 million buyout before January 10th. After that, it'd be $8 million. So on top of that, UCLA would need to pay probably upwards of $8.5 to $9 million per year for his assistant coach salary pool. And, even if we're just giving him a $1 million increase on what his contract is right now in Washington. Again, that's $7.5 million. I know, big numbers. Sorry. All of that to say that's starting $35 million somewhere in that ballpark just to have this discussion. Yeah, he was the former OC and interim head coach there at one point in time. Yeah, and if Jed Fish does move on from Washington one day, will I be shocked? No. Is UCLA going to be that job with all those numbers? No way.
No, that'll be the University of Florida. We all know it. By the way, Nick, scale of 1 to 10, how much are you enjoying Roman just kind of not so secretly and pretty openly calling Jacob unintelligent here?
About an 8.
Good solid A. Good solid A.
See, I want to make this very clear. Jacob, that was by no means to disparage you. That was going to go towards whoever was going to ask the question, and I had prepared my answer as if Spencer was going to ask the question.
Damn it! So I just received it all. You were like, you know what? Screw this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm letting it out regardless. Roman has been he's been spewing on this for hours, ladies and gentlemen.
I know he was. So that's what struck me is he had all the numbers. I was like, wait, he actually thought about it.
This isn't the first time I've been asked this question this week.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Jed Fish is not actually like I don't actually think he's going to leave for UCLA.
Bad. He's going to Virginia Tech. Darn it!
Oh,
I forgot.
No, he's going to go to Florida once Billy gets his brains beaten by Mario Cristobal this week, which is an embarrassing feat in and of itself.
I'm exhausted.
Who gets blown out by Mario, man? That just
Yeah,
I mean, losing to Mario, that's one thing. Blown out, oh boy, that's not good. But elsewhere in the Big Ten, Nick, let's get serious for a moment. Should we just kick Wisconsin and Minnesota out of the league for losing non-conference games last week on the road?
I mean, I would say so. Yeah, they said that Purdue was going to be at the bottom of the league the whole year, and I saw Purdue compete against USC. I saw that Purdue showed to be a competent member of the Big Ten this Saturday. Those programs, they can have their spot at the bottom because I'm tired of hearing it.
Can someone make a Purdue T-shirt that just says "Boilermakers"? We are competent.
Competent members of Big Ten.
Yeah, competent. Or they have the little jersey patch with the Big Ten logo. They should get a little tiny thing in cursive that just says "competent members of," and then the Big Ten conference logo on the jersey.
Off of the UCLA jerseys after the way these first few weeks have went?
I mean, at this
can they
point,
really turn it around? Like that's the question I want to propose to everybody here. It's like, who could UCLA hire to actually turn it around in Los Angeles?
Kurt Signetti.
Shut up. No.
Not so funny now, is it?
Yeah, Kurt Signetti would burst into flame when he walked into Los Angeles. Are you kidding me? He would hate that place. No.
I mean,
no.
Well, it is an interesting question because, the thing that comes up a lot, and I heard from an aggressive number of, I love the engagement, of course, but I posed a question on Twitter to Oregon fans this week. I got the login of some Oregon podcaster, and he let me use it. So I posed a question. If you were Will Stein, Oregon's offensive coordinator, would you take the UCLA job? I don't think there was a single yes. There were a few maybes in there, and that just speaks to how bad the brand of UCLA football is. And like right now, I don't think it always has to be that way, just to be clear. But something that I do think needs to change, and I saw some writing about this, and I want your guys' thoughts. They need to have a stadium on campus. Enough with the Rose Bowl. You can't fill it up. It's a bad look for it would look better if they went and played in a stadium that is the size of Martin Stadium up in Pullman where Washington State plays. I think the capacity is 35,000. If you fill that at 90%, that's the same number of people as filling the Rose Bowl at like 40%, and that's helps your program. Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is I don't know why they're going to, what's the capacity of the Rose Bowl? 100,000?
107, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 107,000 or so. I don't know. Am I crazy on that UCLA needs to figure out a way to play their games on campus? Because how many students really want to go to a football program that number one is lifeless and number two is like an hour away for a home game?
So my take on that, I honestly believe that despite how historic that venue is, I think that the stadium should always be on campus. And I was going to bring that up when you talked about Miami game day being there this week. I believe Miami Stadium is 30 minutes away from the actual campus.
Yeah, if not more.
Yeah, and aren't they having game day at the stadium instead of at the actual campus? Am I mistaken on that?
Not sure.
Okay.
But also Miami, not notorious. It was good against Notre Dame, but not notorious for having a great home field environment.
Yeah, historically, that's just how it is because when you factor in that the students aren't necessarily going to be able to go to the games as consistent as if it was on campus. That's just the logistics of having a stadium on campus. So I think that the on game day environment is a little bit better for schools that do have that stadium on campus. I'm not going to be the campus police, say that this is or not the way that we do it, but I would say that the environment's usually better. when the stadium is on campus.
Goins?
I have a really hot take about the Rose Bowl itself that most people don't want to hear. So
Before you say that, capacity 89,700.
Also, distance from Hard Rock to the University of Miami campus, 38 minutes. So nicely done on that one, Nick.
All right.
I think the Rose Bowl is really overrated for situations like this because it's overused and it's also old and it needs a facelift or a pressure wash. But the fact that UCLA goes in there and gets beat by New Mexico just waters down the stadium itself. I felt that way for a long time, and UCLA continues to bring down the reputation of the Rose Bowl.
So you think they should only play postseason games there?
Yeah, postseason games, special events, it just needs to. It doesn't have its aura anymore. The Rose Bowl
it should host the national championship every year.
That'd be fun. That'd be pretty fun.
It should. Why shouldn't it? It's the most iconic setting in all of college football.
But see, I think it's lost that. I think it's lost that aura. I really.
Well,
do.
then get UCLA out of the stadium so we stop tarnishing it.
It doesn't. Like
right.
It gets it back really, really quickly.
And
you see that sun setting over the San Gabriels? Oh.
It's pretty awesome.
It's nice. I just think
poetic.
it's lost its touch. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Roman, do you want to answer the stadium question, or do you want to answer another question I just thought of?
I'll answer both because I wanted to just kind of.
Okay. All right. The other question I have is UCLA is looking for their Curt Cignetti, not literally Curt Cignetti, but they're looking for their own Curt Cignetti. Indiana was lifeless. Indiana was a bottom dweller. Indiana was terrible. Who wants that job? Now look at it. Should be hosting game day this week.
Sure.
Who do you think that kind of guy is for UCLA?
All right. So first of all, I'll answer the stadium question and say, yes, UCLA should have a stadium on campus, but as a longtime resident of Los Angeles County growing up there, have any of you been to UCLA's campus?
Yes.
No. Nope.
It's absolutely insane to think of a football stadium anywhere in that general vicinity. It's just straight up impossible. So I've just kind of accepted that this is the reality of the situation, that we're going to have to play, games at the Rose Bowl in the middle of October, and UCLA is going to just get stomped on by 45 points. That's just the way that it is. But Spencer, I have a fun answer for you because I've seen his name pop up now on some of these UCLA coaching lists. And it's a guy who from up here in the Pacific Northwest has really made a name for himself at the lower level. And I think a lot like, Kalen DeBoer making the jump from Sioux Falls, to Fresno State before Washington. And when I talked to a whole bunch of recruits about him, the number one thing that I always heard about the guy was he's just a winner. He just finds ways to win at every level. And it's the guy who just beat UCLA. It's Jason Eck at New Mexico. I think that he's a really just fun coach, good personality, somebody who can just infuse a whole bunch of life into the program. And also, just to go back to how we opened this segment, isn't necessarily going to cost you an arm and a leg to bring in.
It's a good answer.
That is a pretty good answer. If you can't beat him, join him or hire him.
Roman's just trying to find any other name that's not named Jed Fish. Roman said, I have 17 different guys that qualify for this job. Take one.
He's like, I hear Nick Saban is available. Brent Pry is out there.
Is that the Virginia Tech coaching list, or is that a
Jimmy Lake? Jimmy Lake would probably take the job.
Lake, please.
Yeah.
I hear he's looking for work.
I thought he had a job in the NFL. Isn't he on somebody's? Is he
the assistant to the head coach with the Los Angeles Rams, I believe.
You know what's crazy is I bet you that is paying like $500,000.
I'm sure it is. He's a substitute teacher for Sean McVay.
Yeah, hold on.
Like the pretty much the job.
Like he's just kind of hanging out.
I had a different description, but I'm not going to share it. It's not appropriate.
Oh right, because we definitely keep things totally censored in PG here on the Big Ten Squad. I mean, we're no Big 12 squad, but
True. Ain't nobody in the Big 12 squad.
No, nobody's a Big 12 squad, despite our best attempt last week. Anyway, where's Zach when you need him? I don't know. Skipping his job. Must be nice. When we get back, we're going to pick every game in the Big Ten for Week 4. Picks all around. There's at least one upset happening this week. Be ready for it. That's coming up next. First, this episode brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS Top Safety Pick awards than anyone else as of August 2025. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings this same intention to how they craft every model. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Nappa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. Plus, they've got all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV. You can drive with confidence through almost any season. So, like the players on all your teams out there, Mazda sweats every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes completely irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Week 4 picks on the way, and there are 4 of us here. So we'll go around, and we'll be solidly speedy, but conference play is almost universal at this point. Friday night game, Nick. Iowa at Rutgers, with Gronowski hot after 179 yards passing against UMass. He's got to travel to Greg Schiano's team that hasn't lost a game yet for, whatever that's worth. And they also struggled with Ohio. Who you got? Rutgers and Iowa.
What's the spread on that one, Spencer?
Sure,
good to know you prepared. It's Iowa minus 2.5.
Iowa minus 2.5. Honestly, I haven't really cared to watch much Iowa Hawkeyes football.
Nobody has.
Year. Yeah, especially after that Week 2 matchup against the Iowa State Cyclones. That one was pretty rough for Gronowski. He's trying to bounce back. Although Greg Schiano's trying to build that program into what it used to be in the Big East, I think that Iowa has too much firepower. They'll beat the Rutgers Knights in that one.
Goins, do you dare bet on Mark Gronowski on the road? I'm not, by the way. I'm taking Rutgers to win this game outright.
I don't know, and my goodness, you could give me $100 bill and say, "Hey, place a bet on this game," and I would give you the $100 bill back. I don't. I'll take Iowa. I like Nick's thing of they have more talent. He said with a question mark. So yeah, I'll take Iowa, but I don't feel good about it.
Roman.
Yeah, I'm not using the words Iowa and firepower in the same sentence in a complimentary way. That said, I do think they win this game. I think this is a battle of 2 really well-coached teams. If the final score of this game is 6-3, I think we're all going to be disgusted, but also not surprised. So yeah, I'll take Iowa, I guess.
Oregon plays Oregon State. They're a 34.5-point favorite. That rivalry, I remember. I am old enough to remember when that game had a Rose Bowl berth on the line, and well, it's different now. Anybody want to take Oregon State in an Appalachian State over Michigan type upset?
It'd be funny. I would certainly enjoy watching that. I'll say that.
Roman's got his hand up. Somebody, hey, producer, screenshot that. Screenshot that. Roman just picked Oregon State to win outright. Let it be known. Let's go to another one that will be more competitive. Maryland goes to Wisconsin. Did you know the Terrapins are 3-0? I think that changes this week. Give me the Badgers at home.
I agree. I think Maryland's days are over of winning games. Once you get to Big Ten play, the wins are kind of numbered there. Wisconsin, they've been trying to get that offense
numbered. They're numbered there.
I didn't want to be that guy. I'm usually the grammar guy.
My apologies, Spencer. They're numbered. But anyways, Wisconsin, they're trying to bounce back after a loss against Alabama. I think they take it out on Maryland.
You're like this close to the second half of making sure a dog isn't going to have kids, which is spay and neuter. You're like, yeah, they're numered. They're numered over there.
Oh my God.
Goins.
Yeah, look, I think Malik Washington makes this game interesting. I think Wisconsin is bad offensively. Their defensive front is solid, but their secondary got torched against Alabama. Give me Malik Washington to make some plays. Maryland covers, but Wisconsin wins.
I kind of like that pick. Roman?
Goins, you and I are on the same page today. That's exactly what I have here. I haven't been impressed by either team. I think Malik Washington is really talented, but yeah, I think Wisconsin at home, they win this game.
Nick, Purdue plays Notre Dame. Shock the world, baby. Shock the world. Notre Dame's going to win.
For what it's worth, I know that using other teams as a measuring stick can be kind of dangerous, but for what it's worth, I do think USC is a better football team than Notre Dame is. But I've said it on my show, I would feel more comfortable playing Notre Dame on the road if they were 2-0 than they're being 0-2. They have to win this one. If they somehow find a way to lose to Purdue, there are conversations about Freeman's job security that aren't being had yet. That's just complete disaster for Notre Dame. So as much as I was content in the loss last week, I think that Notre Dame is going to kind of show something against Purdue Saturday.
Goins, Roman, I assume you guys are both taking Notre Dame in that one. Yeah, no argument there.
Purdue will lose by $1 million.
Here's the upset that I was talking about. I like Nebraska over Michigan outright. They're a slight underdog at home, but Nebraska is unranked. Michigan is ranked. That will flip after this week. I like the Cornhuskers to get it done. Goins, you start it.
Yep. Repeat, copy, paste, send, tweet. I am all the way in on Nebraska, at least against Michigan. Probably not for the season, but other than running the football, which Nebraska will just load the box, they can't move it, can Michigan? So, yeah, give me Nebraska to win.
Roman?
I think I'm going to stick with Michigan on this one. I like that they're at home in this one. I think they're still a little ticked
They're
off.
not. It's in Lincoln.
Oh, it's in Lincoln? Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
Nick, clean sweep for Nebraska, or are you saving the graphic?
I like Michigan for what it's worth. I think that game in Nebraska, I think that one's going to be a little bit easier than playing in Norman at night like we saw earlier in the season. I think
the
that
shot.
I think that
Shots
Bryce
fired at Big Red.
I think that he's so talented. He needs to get a couple games under his belt, and I think he's going to be a very good quarterback for Michigan.
Washington State. The Apple Cup lives on. Washington State last week. For the sake of
What is
the
that,
Cougs
Jacob?
fans.
What is that?
He doesn't know why we're talking about it because the Cougs are
Okay, all right,
The
good.
Cougs
All
are
right.
coming off one of
Just
the
making
worst
sure.
games in recent memory. It was like 42-0 at the half.
Roman, I love your team, brother. They're really good. They're
And they
winning.
were
I
playing-
know you did. That's why I was
They were
shocked.
playing
I was like,
North
hold on.
Texas. Yeah, North Texas took care of Washington State. You're going to get up for a rivalry game. It's at home. This would mean the world for Jimmy Rogers and company. Sorry, Washington's a way more talented team. Washington State is like half the roster is FCS guys that came from South Dakota State. So give me the Huskies big. Sorry, Nick. Yeah, Nick, you go.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jonah Coleman's one of, if not the best running backs in all of the nation. I think that this is a guy that he gets talked about a ton, needs to be talked about even more. He's really special, and I think Washington's going to crack that AP poll soon.
Goins.
They should crack the AP poll. Washington, the only reason they wouldn't cover a 20.5-point spread is because their starters don't play in the third and fourth quarter. So give me Washington by 1,000,000.
So, Jacob,
Roman, I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Yeah, so
anyway.
I'm just gonna back up what Jacob's saying a little bit. Last game, I was gonna say last week, but it was 2 weeks ago against UC Davis. Jedfish was asked after the game if he was aware of the modern touchdown record at Washington after he left Jonah Coleman in the third quarter to get his fifth, and he said, "Yes, I was very well aware of that." After what happened last year, I feel like he might want to run the score up a little bit in this one. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Last year was probably the worst loss of the season for the Huskies, right?
The Rutgers one is up there, but because of the in-state rivalry and everything, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Really quick, fly around. Michigan State, USC. I like the Trojans, but I think Michigan State can hang a little bit, just a little. Nick,
I think so.
I like USC in that one. I think that USC is a really good football team. I think they're going to surprise some people.
Goins.
Yeah, Michigan State covers, but USC wins comfortably.
Roman.
Yeah, I'm with Goins again. We're on the same page today. USC.
And we have one more game to talk about, Roman. You better
We
stick
do.
with me, brother. You better do
We
it.
do. The game of the week in the Big Ten and one of the best at all of college football. Illinois, Indiana, top 20 showdown in Bloomington. I've said it before. I will say it again. I got a very nice message from an Indiana fan. It wasn't nice. But you know what? I don't care. I'm sticking to my guns. Give me Illinois. I have liked it since the off-season. I am sticking with the Illini. They go into Bloomington. They get the win. Plus 5.5 is one of my best bets of the week. Goins, you're going last. Nick, pick the game of the week in the Big Ten.
Yeah, so we've seen for Illinois, Beatty has been Altmaier's #1 receiver. He has 19 receptions. The next highest guy has 8. That's been a connection that Luke Altmaier has gone to. I think that Luke Altmaier has the composure to win in a big game at night in Bloomington. Give me the Illini.
Roman.
Jacob, D'Angelo Pons is still on the field, right?
Oh, yeah.
I trust D'Angelo Pons in that matchup. I was really impressed with him when he was matched up with Denzel Boston at different points last year. I do like Indiana in this game. I think Illinois, yeah, they won a big road game at Duke, but are we going to call it a road game when there were like 5 people in the stands? I think that they still have a lot to prove. Duke turned the ball over a lot in that game. I got Indiana.
All right, Goins. You will have the last words today. Indiana. And, we're out of time. That's too bad. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I wouldn't be that mean, only to Roman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Yes, if look, I'm not going to waste too much time here, but if you do want to catch more content, more preview of Indiana, Illinois, check us out, Locked On Hoosiers, and Sonny Verma at Locked On Illini as well. Look, this game really could be a coin toss. I think Indiana is the better team. I think you have the more talented quarterback. I think you have the better defense, and I think you have the better in-game coach at home, at night, a game that Kurt Cignetti absolutely needs for the resume, and Indiana needs it too. Hoosiers are winning this thing 27-21, and when they do, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and tune in to Locked On Illini and Locked On College Football, because Spencer McLaughlin and Sonny Verma are going to be wearing this beautiful hat from the game cap. Spencer only going to wear it for a day. Sonny's wearing an IU hat all week next week, so just be ready for that.
My hat arrived. It is in a box in my living room right now. I have to unpack it once I clean up the kitchen area, so I will be ready to go if that happens.
And
but
I'm checking on Monday, so you better wear it because I will be tuning in.
It'll be there.
I don't already.
I'm a man of my word. I'll just have you know, the last fan base I made a bet with about wearing gear if they outperform my expectations was UCLA. How's that going? How's it going? Yeah.
You picked on a kid not your size. That's not fair.
I'm the smallest guy in every room I walk into, dog. Like, that can't happen. I've never picked on a kid not my own size. Every kid is my size or bigger. So, Nick Garvin, Locked On Purdue. Jacob Cohen's Locked On Hoosiers. Roman Tomashoff, Locked On Huskies. For this week's Locked On Big Ten Squad, I'm Spencer McLaughlin. Locked On all over the place. Thank you all so much. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. And until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.